Hi guys, welcome back to another Project Leonhartz video. Today we are going to have a more in-depth look at the working system of the Snowbox sample that is provided by uLink. In this part I'm going to give you guys an overview of the flow from connecting to server to getting the game mechanics started. That is, to have playable characters on clients all connected on networks. This is quite important because we need to understand this to know which part we need to modify in order to get our game the way we want it to be. The idea of this connection between client to server here is quite simple. So what happened here is actually we have a client and a server. So the server is running and listening to connections. And then when we run the client will connect to the server, and what happened after that is that the server check credential and stuff, and then it call network instantiate, and that will instantiate three objects, that is the owner, the proxy, and the creator. We can see that inside the server code here we have proxy prefab, owner prefab, and creator prefab. So we have the owner will be instantiated inside the client, and we have the creator prefab to be instantiated inside the server. And all other instances of the game that need to see the client but does not have any control, they will get the proxy prefab. Its movement and action are all controlled by the server. Alright, so we have, let's say we have a server running, and then we have a client. Just forget all this for now. Now we have a client 1, and now it's connecting to the server. When it is successfully connected to the server will call instantiate creator 1 inside the server. 1 here means it's for the client 1, and then instantiate the owner prefab for the client 1. That means the owner here means the client 1 is the owner of this object, and that means he can control the object. That's it. There is no proxy. There is no proxy because there is no other client. There is only this client, which is the owner. Now, let's see. We have another client, client 2 here, come in, and he tried to connect to the server. Now, when that's done, the server will instantiate another creator 2. Creator 2 responds thing to client 2 inside the server, and it also instantiate the proxy prefab for client 1. So this is proxy 2. It is the object, the avatar of the client 2, and it is owned by client 2. But because client 1 want to see it, so it get the proxy 1. Now, and the same thing happened here. It instantiate owner 2, owned by client 2, and the proxy of the client 1. In that way, client 2 will be able to see client 1 and himself. And the same thing happened again when there is another client logging in. We connect, it get its prefab. The prefab for client 3 will be given to all the existing clients in here. They get another object for the server here, and then it get its owner prefab and the prefab for the other clients on its object. Okay. Another concept, the group concept. Let's go into group concept. So all of this happened because these three clients are in the same group, same network group. So when you are in the same network group, when you connect, you get the proxy of the other clients as well, because you're in the same group. You're supposed to see each other, and that's how uLink and the built-in network in Unity manage the resources. So it's actually a very convenient system. Okay, now we have the same group 1 and group 0. All three of them are in group 0, so when they connect, they get to see each other and stuff like that. Now, when you put another client inside a different group, what happens is when it connects, it only get the owner 4, which is itself is acting as if other client in the other group does not exist for this player. However, the server does not do that. The server will still instantiate the creator 4 on the server side, but all the other player will still be in that server. So what that means is that all these players will still collide and stuff. The physics will still work for all 4 of them together. The physics in Unity doesn't really take into account the network stuff. That means they will still be able to collide, and maybe your attack can still hit each other. But we can still, this can be really interesting. You can do something like that into a game. But you can also separate them using the group network here. You can tell, maybe you can put them into different layer and then tell the physics engine to ignore all the objects or colliders that are in different layer, so that it doesn't collide and it doesn't interact. Or another option, you can just put all these players that is in the same group. I should just put them in the same in a different space than the other group. That way they won't be able to collide and stuff. All the objects have their own self-contained game logic, and they also handle networking and things, synchronization and things like that. So it doesn't really depend on the server. So all the server needs to do is just instantiate. Okay, let's see how it happened inside Unity. Okay, let's just run server 2 here on the client, outside, and then we will run a server 1 in Unity editor. And we will run a few clients, and I'm going to run server 1 here. Okay, this is the client, and the server is running. This is server 2, and Unity editor is server 1, and we have one client, which is this one. Let's say this one is client 1. Now it's logged in to the server. Okay, now we got this guy. Okay, when we look into the server, you can see we have the server object. This is the creator object. You see a player add creator cloud. That's what happened here. When we have one object connect to the server create a creator object inside the server and the owner object inside the client. We will look into this. We will run the client on editor after this. Okay, let's see. We have another client. Then we have client 2 logging in. Okay, we have client 2 log in. There we go. Now when we look into the server, we have another client 2. This is that one is client 1, and this is client 2. You can look at the name here. Player name is client 2. This one is client 1. This is a new player that just come in. It's inside the server as well. Alright, that's it. And same thing happens when we do another client. If we do the third client, for now we have 2 clients. So client 1 we have owner and proxy, and server has creator 1 and 2 for both clients. And the third one is just like that, very simple. Client 3 connect, and there we go. To this, we have another client in here with the name client 3. Right, now let's try running the client and check out what happened inside the client instead. I'm gonna have to run another server. Actually, we don't need server 2. Let's just get rid of server 2. Let's run server 1. Okay, server 1 here. Now this one we want to run client. Let's say client 1, save. Alright, we are in client 1. Let's see. There we go. Now we have client 1 coming in here. Look at here, we have the player owner. See, that's what happens when you log in as the first client. We have the owner object inside the client 1. Alright, now let's get another client to log in. This is client 2. There we go. And to log in. And we got the proxy. This is the proxy. And we cannot control this proxy. When we control, we only control our character, which is the owner clone here. In the script, the server script, this is where you instantiate and stuff like that. Here is the game server script. And here is when it instantiate. Network instantiate on player connect. It will go and instantiate the player, proxy prefab, owner prefab, and creator prefab. That's the 3 prefabs we see in here. And then here is the group. So all prefab are instantiated inside the same group, group 0. That's why when a new player connected in, it will be able to see the other player as well. But if you change that group, if a new client log in, you put it in a different group, then it only sees itself and everyone else just doesn't seem to exist to him. Okay, that is all for this part. In the next video, we are going to look into the components in each of the 3 prefab, the owner, the creator, and the proxy prefabs. Because as I mentioned before, these prefabs has the self-contained game logic in them. So if we understand how we can implement the game mechanics inside these prefab, we will be able to make the game something of our own. Alright, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Have fun making your MMO game.